Ozzy, are you going to come and say hello to the children today? I can see that you've obviously had a very noisy night, Ozzy, like in the story, because you're just lying over there. Are you coming to say hello? No. He seems to be going to where he can hear some noise. Ozzy, shall we bring him in? Ozzy, come on. Right, Oz, come and say hello. Oh, he's a big furry teddy bear, aren't you? Tell the children what book you've chosen today, Oz. The Very Noisy Night. Who causes noisy nights sometimes, Ozzy? Is it you? Yes. The Very Noisy Night. It was the middle of the night, and Big Mouse was fast asleep in his big bed. Little Mouse was wide awake in his little bed. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear something rushing around the house, and it's huffing and it's puffing. Big Mouse opened one eye and one ear. It's only the wind, he said. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. There isn't room. And he turned over and went back to sleep. Little Mouse lay listening to the wind. Then suddenly, between a huff and a puff, came a tap, tap, tap. Little Mouse climbed out of bed, opened the front door just a crack, and peeped out. Whoosh went the wind, but there was no one outside. Big Mouse! Big Mouse! Called Little Mouse. I can hear someone tapping. Perhaps there's a burglar on the roof. Big Mouse got out of bed and opened the bedroom curtains. Look, he said, it's only a branch tapping on the window. Go back to sleep. Can I come in your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. You wriggle. Little Mouse lay in his own bed and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and someone calling, ooh, 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 ooh. Little Mouse climbed out of bed again. This time he looked under it. Then he looked in the wardrobe, and feeling very frightened, he cried, Big Mouse! Big Mouse! Oh, I think there's a ghost in the house, and it's looking for me, and it keeps calling, hoo, 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 hoo. Big Mouse sighed, sat up, and listened. It's only an owl, he said. It's awake like you. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. Your paws are always cold. And Big Mouse pulled the blanket over his head and went back to sleep. Little Mouse got back into his own bed, and he lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, the branch tap-tap-tapping, and the owl hooting. But shh! What was that? Big Mouse! Big Mouse! He called. I think it's raining inside! And Little Mouse jumped out of bed and fetched his red umbrella. Drip, 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 drip. Big Mouse got out of bed too. He opened the front door. Be quiet, wind, he said. Be quiet, branch. Be quiet, owl. But they took no notice. Then Big Mouse went into the kitchen, turned off the dripping tap, and put away the umbrella. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, You're nice and snug in your own bed, said Big Mouse, taking him back to the bedroom. Little Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, the branch tap-tapping and the owl hooting. And just as he was beginning to feel very sleepy indeed, he heard whee, whee, whee. Big Mouse! Big Mouse! He called. You're snoring! Wearily, Big Mouse got up. He put his earmuffs on Little Mouse's ears. He put a paperclip on his own nose and he went back to bed. Little Mouse lay and listened to nothing. It was very, very, very quiet. He couldn't hear the wind huffing, or the branch tapping, or the owl hooting, or Big Mouse snoring. It was so quiet that Little Mouse felt that he was all alone in the world. He took off the earmuffs, he got out of bed, and he pulled the paperclip off Big Mouse's nose. Big Mouse! Big Mouse! He cried. I'm lonely. Big Mouse flung back his blanket. Better come into my bed, he said. So Little Mouse hopped in, and his paws were cold. And he needed just a little wriggle before he fell fast asleep. Big Mouse lay and listened to the wind, huffing and puffing, and the branch tapping, and the owl hooting, and Little Mouse snuffling. And very soon he heard the birds waking up, but neither of them heard the alarm clock, because they were both fast asleep. And that is the end of our story. So our book today is called The Very Noisy Night. And the sight words that you're going to hear in the book, maybe if you've got your pen and paper nearby, maybe if you hear them, you could write them down. Little, house, come, and there. And this is the there as in over there. We've also got one, asked, and looked. They're going to be in the story. Listen out for them. So our digraph focus today, we've got oi in the word ois-y, noisy. Did you notice? What's the Y saying at the end of noisy? That's right, he's saying E, isn't he? Some of you have names ending in Y that say E, don't you? So oi in noisy. We've got the trigraph I in the word night, night. You're also going to hear ear, the trigraph ear, and that's in the word ear, here. You might come across the split digraph A, and I found it in the word awake, awake, because I think someone might be awake in the story. And then there was a really tricky digraph, which is a W and an R together, but they're not saying wurra, they're saying just So you might find that in the word right. Right, it's a silent W, isn't it? And wriggle, the word wriggle is in the story, so we don't pronounce the W, we just say wriggle. Wriggle also has a silent E on the end, doesn't it? It starts with a silent letter and ends with a silent letter. Wriggle. It's a bit of a tricky word. Look out for all of these in the story. So, As I was reading the story, I couldn't help but notice the inside of the mouse. Oh, Ozzy. It's called The Very Noisy Night, isn't it, the story? I think Ozzy's making a bit of noise of his own. But I couldn't help but notice that in the story, the mouse's house seemed to be made out of all little tiny things. And things that you might find around your house that he's using in his house. Look, there's a golf tee that you might balance your golf ball on. I think the mice must be using that as a little weight to lift up. There's a cotton reel. You might find one of those in Mum's sewing kit or Dad's sewing kit. And they're using that as a table. They've used a little tiny cake candle light as the bedside light, a little branch to be a mobile with some beads on for the little baby mouse. I like the way they've used the playing card for the back of the bed in the illustration. And I think he might be using dice as little building blocks. And I did like this. He's got a watch, just a part of a watch, not with the strap on it, as his wall clock, and some stamps as pictures. And that set me thinking, I bet the children could do a challenge of making a little house for a mouse. Look, I've already started mine. I found this box and I've made a little picture of a rainbow for on the wall. I made a tiny little rug for inside to go on the floor, and I've just started making the furniture. Look, I've made a tiny weeny little chair out of cardboard and a tiny weeny little table for the mice to sit at. I'm going to try and make some other things as well. What else could you make? Have a little think. Oh, a bed, that would be good, wouldn't it? You could make that just by folding some paper like this. That could be the end of the bed, couldn't it? And then perhaps I need a leg for the bed this side so it doesn't fall over. Let's have a go at this, see if this works. And this could be the headboard, couldn't it, up here, this bit, if I fold it down like this. I think I might need a bit of sticky tape on there, do you? To hold it together. When that's held together, and then I could make a little duvet and things, couldn't I, to go on top of the bed, and a little pillow. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so cute. I can't wait. Maybe you could make one and send me some pictures by email, and I could see what you've managed to make for your little mouse. You could even put some of your own little doll's house furniture in it, couldn't you? Or little bits for the mice to play with. Go on, see how imaginative you can be. Have fun with it. See you later. Bye.